Shit. Facebook. All right, yeah, we live. Oh, hey everybody, how y'all doing? Mac was a little later than usual than coming on tonight, but hey, nobody's watching, so we just
Tune in every Tuesday at 9 p.m. for Nightcap Knowledge. Put the children to bed, get your adult beverage, and get ready. Nightcap Knowledge is rated black and hosted by longtime community organizer and entertainment professionals, Mr. Mac and DJ George Chuck. Real talk, real issues, real solutions. Nightcap Knowledge on Facebook, IG, and Twitter. Tune in and share.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. For those of you out there that were tuned in early, you saw Mac and I panicked because typically we get this stuff done, before 9 o'clock. Today didn't work out like that. I've had a number of difficulties with internet service provider named Sparklight. So
who that is now? Who it is? So we know who the you said who?
Sparklight. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Sparklight. Like if I had that's an interesting name for a internet service provider. Like as a person that uses the internet quite heavily, specifically for instances like this where we're podcasting from our home studio and needing these types of things to function and do work. Like some of my software is cloud based, and to not have access to these things is quite unsettling, and I'm not able to do the work that I need to do. So like I would rather have something like Spark Fast.
It did say Spark Light, so that means it was just going to start the process. It never said it was going to continue the process and finish it. It said Spark Light, or it said we're going to go hard or go heavy. It just said Spark Light.
I need Spark Hard. I need Go Spark Go. I don't need Spark Light. I look, y'all know somebody that work at Spark Light. Y'all add them in the comments. I've already mentioned them on my Facebook because man, like I only have two options. AT&T is very slow in my area, and then Sparklight was the next best thing or my only other option. So I don't know. I'm gonna see what Sparklight gonna say, but I have not been satisfied with Sparklight. Let me just say it like that. It's supposed to be cable internet. I'm not satisfied with it.
I just say this. The damn names, not for us, and I'm saying us, black businesses that tell you need to come up with a name that's been taken seriously. You need to come up with a name that sounds professional. You want folks to look at you and they tell us all that bullshit, and then you come up with a production company called The Furry Door.
Yeah.
They come up with names like that, and we like, yeah, I want that. And we like, wait a minute, that's not what you told us how we need to do our stuff.
Hold up, let me cut the music.
What?
Hold up. Is there a real production company named The Furry Door?
Yeah. And the damn door is furry. It's like it's a real it's a major like from watching movies at the end you watch the credits.
Credits. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like
that's got to be something like I feel like it has a sexual connotation, an undertone.
Man, listen, them folk come up with all type of shit, and I'm telling you, them not half the names. I'm telling you see some shit like I don't know, green pickles or whatever the hell they come up with names. You look like fuck, and it'd be a real live major production company or major business. You like, but you gonna talk about Yard Boy Entertainment?
Hey, Yard Boy has set some industry standards and has been the go-to for event production and management.
But it got history. It got two meanings. You can't even tell me what the hell the meaning of the damn furry door.
Look, I know what it made me think about.
What you drinking tonight, Chuck?
Shallon gave me some of Snoop Dogg's Cali Red, so I'm on a little red wine. Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, like, look, this isn't even one cup, so I only had like a third of a cup at this point.
What's
So
it like a 9%?
I don't even know, man. I mean,
Them damn reds.
It's a blended red. They good.
Them
But
reds will get you there.
Look, man, furry door.
Google it.
I'm finna Google it right now. I'm finna see.
I'm trying to remember what the hell I was watching.
Let's see. All right, Fuzzy Door production.
Fuzzy door.
All right, Seth MacFarlane. Okay.
Yep.
But I mean, he throw it off anyway. You know, he a funny.
But my point is he not a millionaire?
Oh yeah.
And what's the name of his company? The Fuzzy Door. Okay, all right.
Fuzzy Door. Yeah.
Right.
I ain't mad at him, man. I ain't mad at him at all. You know, I'm definitely not mad at the folks that are out there participating and watching with us tonight. All of our folks over on Black Window Chaser and the Nightcap Knowledge page. We appreciate y'all, all of our Nightcappers, for tuning in each and every week. This is episode 45. And just like, look, we're gonna do something special for 50. And Matt, you got to do a mental health minute, but I want to give you one of the things that I've been working on personally. And you know, like we have these big, these very, very large list of things, you know, right. And you and I and Sabir, our partner Sabir, shout out to Extraordinary Business Solutions. Sabir and Mac and I all have a very, very long list of things to do. And some of the content that I've been consuming in terms of trying to develop myself as a better business owner, because that's one of the things that Mac challenges me on regularly. Like, all right, we're gonna be business owners. Like, let's be the best version of our business owning selves, especially for folk that, you know, do this full time. So one of the things that I worked on, and it was at the top of the list. We didn't have like a running doc of guests. Mm-hmm. So Mac, you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
I got 36 names.
What?
36 names. So now I'm talking about, you know, my mental health, and I was like, man, I'm really proud of this. Yeah. Hey, look, shout out to our sister Tanya Boyd Cannon checking in. I got some pictures for you from the production, the Wiz in New Orleans, her summer camp kids, Rise My Child summer camp. They're absolutely outstanding. Shallon and I and the boys, we enjoyed the show. But here's the thing. We've had people like Tanya on the show. So
TBC.
Like, for real, think about the type of personality and stature that Tanya has. Well known in Mississippi, well known in New Orleans, right? Known around the world.
Right.
We've had let's say Shirlethia.
Right.
Absolutely phenomenal woman. Chasmin Jackson. Think about these people we had.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we were hitting these people from like our personal network.
Right.
So what I did after listening, I'm gonna tell you what I did. Instead of just scrolling up and down Instagram, and I see Matt going to his
I'm messing with Tanya now.
His Jack Apple. And oh, look, Tanya, I know you want some of that apple. So what I did, man, instead of just making that empty scroll through Instagram, and then this, right. You know, other entrepreneurs out there, this may be something that you could do. It could be a way that you develop a list, and straight up off of my Facebook and Instagram feed, I put together 36 names. So we only run once a week here.
Right.
I said some of the folks I might do just for the coast with like the In the Mix show that I do. Mm-hmm. Because I've only done about maybe 3 or 4 episodes of that. But for Nightcap Knowledge, man, we got us a good solid 30. And that's 30 people.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit to know that we had folks on that are leading advocates around the country. There was a part of the transition team for President Obama who worked with Eric Holder.
That's Lily. I said Lily.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the people, but I'm like the titles.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The connection that you pick up the phone and you call a scientist, you know, right. Like, you know what I'm saying? You reach out to artists like Alvin Garrett, Dollar Black.
Right,
You know,
right.
we pulling these folks on. And so that's what I'm like, yeah, we know their names, but outside of their names that we know personally, how does the world know them? How do they see them?
Right.
And their statue. So you got this sister that sung the national anthem, our national anthem.
Yes.
And it had her own spin to it, and they was seen around the world.
Right.
And right now she talking about us in our comments. You see what I'm saying? So you got folks like that. Even Larry, when and Larry don't ever like to shout out, but he's running around here. He'll jump in. You got Cliff, who's got a lot of times who are around halfway around the world. And Cliff Jefferson.
We have
jump in,
all corners of the world for this little podcast right here. And I every time I say it, I appreciate it. I even, it was one of those things where, you read a lot of things, you try to consume things, you want to, I see the gentleman, you want to be thankful, but you also, you find content and everything, and you also find a message in everything. You might find a lesson. And, one of the folks on social media that I came across, and I'm making our list. I'm actually spending that time. I'm going to post something. I want to post something every day, right?
Right.
But somebody said, have y'all looked up the word humble? And I was disturbed by the definition, and I don't want to seem arrogant, but at the end of the day, just like you said, some of the folks that we've had the privilege to talk to and the titles that they carry, it shows you the type of interconnectedness and circle that we have, and that's one of the things I'm most appreciative for. And Tanya's, look, man, I appreciate that, and I can't wait for you to see these pictures. I had such a good time at that production. Mac, I wish I could have been there. It'd have been great for me to see. Tanya's supposed to be doing another one in the fall. And I think that Tanya had somebody there documenting the whole thing. So maybe we can an online premiere and then sell some tickets to the online premiere. So yeah, man, Nightcap is where it's at. I'm Mac, thank you for pushing me to create another one. And I think Nightcap Knowledge and the time that we spent, how long did we spend developing the name? Because we started with something like all the way over there.
Yeah, we was all there in left field and brought it back. But it came back to what we were doing. Chuck and I were no stranger to the nightlife. We're doing events. And a lot of times what people think, they're hanging out. We developed some of our best projects. We're sitting around having a drink or at the barbecue grill or whatever. And we talking about, hey, man, we need to do this. We need to feed this. We need to help folks. And that's what our conversation and, the context of our conversation.
Oh yeah, she wide open now. She wide open.
That was my Tanya. I don't do the M very well, but Tanya said she headed out to get with the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Shout out to my wife over that way. So Tanya must be performing or something tonight. I don't know. Yeah, but look, yeah, we
might need to get. Matter of fact, we might need to get Tanya up here for the 30th, and to bring everybody up to speed.
With it.
So right now, disclaimer: this show is rated Black and uncensored, real talk, real issues, real solutions. And we were talking about Freedom Summer and highlighting Freedom Summer. So we just got clearance from Tublu, which goes back to another one of the things that we got relationship with. Yeah. That we will be doing the event called Celebration of Freedom.
Yep.
It will be the celebration of the 60th anniversary of the Freedom Ride, 61st anniversary of the founding of SNCC, and also the 80th birthday celebration for veterans of the Civil Rights Movement, a former member of SNCC, a Tougalooan, brother Hollis Watkins. He's turning 80. And as you can see, every Tuesday, he is with us at our new Freedom Summer Project, teaching, organizing, and sharing his story. From when he was threatened by white folks when he first got involved, and how his daddy stood up and told them white folks to try to threaten his daddy, and his daddy told them to get ass, you got to give up some. Basically, they told him if you don't get your boy out of that stuff, then we're gonna come over there and do something to y'all. And his daddy told him
To get some ass, you got to give up some.
Hey,
and that's the end of that conversation. To him being placed on death row for 55 days in Parchment Penitentiary for registering people to vote. And he's still right now at 79 years young.
Hey, buddy.
Singing songs and inspiring the youth. And it was a really good day today.
Tanya, we love you too. And Mac, that damn phrase right there.
Hey.
Well, hey, what's Brother Hollis' dad's name?
I got to look in the book. I forgot his dad's name, but Brother Hollis is the youngest of 12 children.
Hey, Papa Hollis.
Papa Watkins.
Hey, well, look, Papa Watkins, buddy. to get some ass, you gotta give them.
You gotta be ready to get.
Look, man, let me
Hey, old folk back there had some sayings. And listen, he was telling the day he was, and he talked about it. This man is almost 80 years old, and it showed the impact that parents have.
Yes,
and how he talked about his mama and dad is like they still
right
here, but
yeah,
that you can see the respect he had from him.
Yeah,
and said his dad was running across a white man, and he said, "You not no more man than I am."
Mm-hmm.
And let's figure out a way to do this so we don't have to find out who's right.
Yeah.
And it always was like that. And even stories from my great uncle that white folks always said that nigga crazy. Anytime you stood toe to toe to look at them,
yeah,
they said something was wrong with you. But he just they had their own land, so they didn't work for white folks. They had their own land and they farmed their own land, so they already had a certain independence that other folks didn't have.
Yeah, that's that ownership, and that's that owning your labor. I mean, you got the capacity to do what it is that you need to do. Like I had a client, somebody that it was a last minute DJ gig, and I ended up providing a small discount because it was on a Monday. And it's like at any given time, if you don't want to do something, and bringing Trina into the conversation, no is a real word that can't be thrown around at any given moment.
Right.
So that's the luxury that you have, that you can stand on your personhood and say, well, look, I'm a person too, I'm a man too, I'm a woman too. At the end of the day, we don't have to go down this road. You can make a decision to walk away from me right now because you brought this to my doorstep. So like I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do work, and I want to be valued for my work. But at the end of the day, the only people that I'm responsible for are my friends and my family. And as long as we continue to do what we said that we were going to do and what we were called to do, we're going to be fine.
Listen, I think about the frat, what they used to tell us when we first start. They said, we would love to have you, but we don't need you. But we don't need you.
Hey, look, the old bros, for us, for the Q, they said like this: Omega seeks no man.
Hey,
now you can come this way,
but T.I. is
no man.
There T.I. is, and I think those messages, like for me, I never was big on large numbers for events. Like what we're talking about now. It's about the quality, those that are going to actually come and pay attention. So you got. If you have 11, 12, 13 people in a room that's paying attention, that's asking questions, that's there to learn and listen, then that's better than having 50 or 100 in attendance to just say, I was there. Because what are you doing? What are you growing? And his energy level changes.
Mm-hmm.
Today we surprised him. His daughter was there. So you see it. Now, this was from last week, but his energy level changes. And you're just seeing that he has so much knowledge to teach and so many stories to tell.
And so this video is from today?
No, that's from last week.
That's from last week. Okay.
Yeah, I got to get the other one from Jamie. She recorded today.
All right. So check this out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start this, and then we're going to bring up some photos. I know it's a pretty lengthy video. You can go over to Mac's YouTube page. We'll post it on the Nightcap Knowledge page. As well as the Mississippi Move page if you want to check out the entire video. But we're going to get a clip of this of Brother Hollis Watkins Muhammad at Freedom Summer 2021 right now.
Don't want it to be like it was as a part of the early 60s. You had to make sure that people heard you. If you don't deal with them in a certain kind of way, I missed it. When you say you did, I didn't do it. Part of my major role as a result of being a part of the civil rights movement, I actively got involved in the civil rights movement. I was a young man. I had finished high school. I was looking for something to do. I began to get information about the reality of which I saw, knew, and was experiencing some of it. I got to work and says, I'm going to bring young people involved into this process. I first got involved in the civil rights movement down in High County, Macomb, Mississippi. I didn't know what was going on, but I said, I want to find out. A friend girl of mine came to me one evening and said, Brother Hollis, I said, guess what? I said, you don't know. Dr. Martin Luther King is going to be in Macomb tonight. I want to do everything I can to go see him. I thought you might be interested. But you couldn't have thought of anything better than that. I wanted to see Dr. King. And that's how I first got involved in the civil rights movement. So I went to where Dr. King was supposed to have been. Wasn't there. Some members of the NAACP was there. And they told me that Dr. King would be back the next day. He was gone for long, but he was taking care of other business. And I was welcome to stay around until we come back. I'll come back and see him the next day. And
Man,
that's what I chose. See him the next day.
that's all right there, man.
You guys see who you ran into the next day.
To see him the next day.
Hold up.
He was not there. Bob Moses and some of the other state workers, they were there. And when they saw me, they said, oh yes, come right on in. We've been looking for some of y'all. Name some of y'all. Some of y'all was 12 children, and it had to be specific when he was talking to me because I knew how the white folks would say things that wasn't very, very specific. And they'll pretend that they didn't know and call themselves talking about it in a way that we and other communities people talk about it. So that's how when I first got it.
You can go ahead, Chip.
All right. So he ran into Bob Moses the next day.
And that's how everything started. And you know, you're saying about the coincidence. Then he does a couple songs and just talk more about but teaching about getting involved at an early age.
Yeah.
He talked about, somebody asked a question about what was one of the things that that was from today. One of the things that see different today than it was then. He said the Black community. He said what was the same was not enough folks got involved. And the same thing we see now. And as I talk about, we talk about the crime in the city of Jackson. you probably have 5 to 7% real criminals. You have 35% those who benefit, empathize, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of folks that are not actively engaging, even to the point where somebody sees someone going to someone's house and never say anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the thing is, they had multiple conversations going on, say, hey, we need the National Guard. No. The thing is, we got to learn to fix our own shit. And to the point where we got to call folks out on their stuff. Everybody need to do a better job. Everybody, regardless if you have a title or not. And every little bit helps. But it goes back to saying how they try to pretend like our community, just turned like this. It's been like this for, and maybe not in certain facets. It's been situations like this where the community did not do all it could have done for itself. And that's part of the conversation we talk about. And, so that's why I'll never let folks forget there was plenty of churches that closed the door on Dr. Martin Luther King. So everybody didn't welcome his speech and then welcome him and his ideology. A lot of folks closed the doors on him. Now,
especially when he moved from civil rights to economic rights.
Oh yeah, and so Brother Hollis and civil rights attorney Carol Rhodes was at the Black Family Summit in 2015. Brother Hollis actually facilitated, and attorney Carol Rhodes was on the panel, and it said one of the things they wish they had done during the 60s while they were fighting for social justice, they wish they had done more for economic justice. And it goes where we are today, where you get frowns when you're trying to do stuff for yourself. When you have hateful ass, inferior ass creatures hack different groups and say nigga just because young Black folks are starting to invest in the stock market.
Yeah.
Like that's how upset you are that you would get in a group, pay money to get in a group just to say nigga.
Yeah.
So it just showed when we put our feet down and we actually use our mind and start organizing and working together, that it strikes fear in them, which goes back to what Dr. Amos Wilson said, a rational mind for the Negro considered to be radical. When you start talking about feeding yourself, clothing yourself, teaching yourself, being able to know who you are, know yourself, defend yourself, which is rational thinking, they said that's radical. That's it. They said that's radical. And I tell them everything, especially this day, it won't let you do for yourself. It won't do for you. It just wants you to have exactly what they will give you and keep you at a certain level, not let you create opportunity to better yourself.
Like what's wrong with seeing the error or the inhumanity in the group of people or the larger group of people that sought to explore and then subsequently take away the land and the resources that they found once they got to everywhere.
And that's the organized, that's to let you know that some folks didn't even have a communication with each other. There's a certain trained pattern of thinking.
Look,
that you're going to go here and do the same exact thing in cultures that we don't even know about.
You don't get, and look, and here's one of the things that, this, me and my Tougaloo self and me being from Slowbill, Alabama, like I had to think about things for a while. But in my mind, I'm like, at what point does somebody speak another language? And then is it by force that they begin, that the whole country ends up speaking not their native tongue, but another language? And it's still like that. Like the names of these places change because of, and not for the better, not for the better, but for worse. Like you have a continent that is made up of resource rich countries that are still painted to be as third world as third world can be. And now prior to all of this colonization and everything. And I know that this is where ultimately you have apartheid. The products or the byproducts of this colonization is apartheid and Jim Crow and all of that. But it's in history books and it has been celebrated and it has been documented very, very heavily that Mansa Musa was like the world's richest man ever in the history of ever. So how do you get from this continent having the world's richest man ever to them to this whole grouping of people on this particular land mass now becoming third world countries, and then now these other countries in these, what is it, the 21st century are now, I'm doing my DJ Cassidy hands, are now superpowers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like none of that stuff don't mean like y'all, people are mad at black folks for becoming knowledgeable of themselves and also knowledgeable of the folks who like y'all people. Like them your people. Everybody blame stuff on your people. Hey man, get your people. Like, nah, look, man, own up to what y'all people did. It's a thing that happened. Look, own up to it.
And the bad thing about it, Chuck, is it's not just it happened.
It's continuing to happen.
It continues to happen. And so when you have those horrible ass folks that make comments like talking about get over it, it's not like it's some shit that happened in the 1700s, 1700s, 1800s,
no,
even
man,
early 1900s. It's like it continued to happen like yesterday. Yeah. And so it's not like something you get over because you found what works and it becomes so normalized within that culture.
Right. That anything that happens outside of what you're used to, that is radical.
We don't like, and I said we because we adopt. You understand what Malcolm X said when Master say sit, we said we sit, and we start to adopt certain ways that we think the same along the same line. Anything that's outside the norm, right? Yeah. So anything that's outside the norm that we don't understand or that we never heard about, and no matter how true it may be, how true it may seem, we see it as a threat. Anything that's below the norm, below the norm, above the norm, we red flag. And depending on where you are, it's worse. We were just talking, like Brother Hollis talked about today, in Holmes County, 85% probably the land back during the time of the 60s were owned by black farmers. And it's like one of the places where
close to the root.
Actually, it was one of the places in the country where you had most of your land ownership by black folk. And he was saying, Brother House, out of all the areas that did organize in Mississippi, it was one of the areas where that black folks stood up. They didn't have as much problems because you weren't totally dependent on them because black farmers had their own.
Yeah, they own their labor.
Lexington is still 90% black, or 85, 87% black, and we now have a white mayor and a white police chief. And we have a white police chief, and the same guy that they was complaining about harassing folks is the same guy they made police chief. But here's the crazy thing about it.
How that happened?
But here's the thing about it. Go back to us and our thinking, how people respond to him.
What you mean?
Like folks are moving. Like he show up and he's on the speaker and he says something and don't even slow down. Folks are moving. So it's like, it makes what folks say true. Black man come through there and tell you something, say something to you. He ain't no bigger, ain't in no better shape than the white man. But when the white man said, we go. Remember, Bobby Dick Gregory, he said, if you want black folks to believe something, just tell them a white person said it. Now, if I say Chuck said it, who Chuck? Chuck don't know shit. Chuck got degrees in this. It don't matter. I see this. I'm telling you, this is so real that you can have all of the experience, personal calling, certification, and training, and then someone that don't look like you. I'll give you a really good example. School of Social Work, we had a guest speaker came from one of the more northern states, older white lady, her and her husband came down. I never forget this. We were talking about financial social work.
Hmm.
And she started talking about the federal guidelines. So you hear the conversation all the time talking about how equal pay for equal work.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, and then you hear this in the Black community a lot of times, and folks are talking to Black men about Black women making as much as the Black man. So I was like, but you talk about a few guys in a certain pocket. You're not talking about across the board.
Yeah.
So when the white lady came and did the national average and she put it across there and she said, who makes the most money across the board in the country? She started with white man. She started with white woman. She started with Black woman, Hispanic woman. And I started to laugh. And they looking like, they were confused. I said, where's the Black man? I said, this is the same thing I've been telling y'all. But I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Yeah. I said, you got to look at national average, not the few people that work in certain positions. Yeah. Because this is your circle. We're talking about across the board.
And you had folks that
didn't want to understand and want to believe that. But that's how we think, that when they come and tell us something, and I'm saying, and that's on a larger scale, when folks come and tell us something, it's, what I'm saying, it's now it's real. But what I'm saying about us is, which goes back to some of the same conversation that Brother Hollins was saying back then, is we have the capacity. They know that we have the capacity. And their biggest fear that we're going to wake up one day and realize that, and we, regardless of our personal differences or what we don't like about each other, we're going to focus on the business and take this shit and take it to a whole nother level. But they keep us distracted. Like social media now is one of the main distractions. They put topics out there, we arguing with each other about something, but we don't own shit. We don't own one social media stream. We don't own nothing major, but we argue with each other on their social media, but we can't post. We can't even play our artists that we know that's a friend of ours that gave permission. We can't even play their song.
Express written consent. Yeah.
Own the damn thing with us, and we can't play their song.
Got flagged while they was on the show.
But
3 times.
Which goes to my point of what I'm saying is
actually 14,000 times.
Sorry. We have to do our own shit, and we got to support each other.
Yeah.
And whatever we don't like about each other, man, forget it.
Man, get over it.
Get over it. Get under it. I don't give a damn what you do with it. The thing is, we got to do better about ourselves, because we got to change the way of thinking. That means we got to change our way of speaking. We got to change the way we address each other. And we just talked about certain words. Matter of fact, before the Therapeutic Thursday started last week, the discussion was talking about nigga and bitch. That's a term, right? And it was turning how we use it out of context, and it's used within certain groups as a term of endearment. But what happens is you start to use it so much that it becomes a norm. So that's how you hear yourself, and that's become a normal language. So if you say brother, if you say sister, brother, whatever that came at, you started using more positive language. Also, it has become your normal language to go to. But also you start thinking about things differently. We don't use there's a lot of terms we don't use. You know what I'm saying? We don't use in our normal day-to-day language, and we don't understand what comes with those terms. And we are trying to get ourselves in a different place. We have got to, and it sounds very odd for somebody that DJ and somebody that bartend, we have got to do better about education over entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be fun all the time. That's why comedians have been the biggest organizers and activists in I guess the creation, because they are able to tell raw truth in a funny way, and it gets you to say, he sure ain't lying.
Right.
Because if I came up there, Chuck came out there and told you, you wouldn't listen. But you can get a comedian to come and tell you in a funny way, and you eat it up and you listen. That's why they are so important. Eddie Griffin told us before President Obama won, he said, man, they'll let that N-word win and then turn around and blame every damn thing on him. He said that prior to him running.
Yep.
And what happened when he got in office? Everything was his fault.
Everything was his
even
fault.
After he got out of office.
I mean, it was still his fault.
Everything is his fault. And it's like, you had your one. That's all you get.
Yeah. The insurrection on what it was, January
On January 6th.
was his fault too.
They were mad about Obama, which is truthful.
Right.
That's true, because they were mad that they didn't get what their way. They already had that Obama fella, and now they didn't get their president back. And their greatest fear is not of Biden. Their greatest fear that they're gonna have a black, minority, Asian, whatever you want to call the sister,
a whole person that has more ethnicity and melanin than they comfortable with.
as your president, and
Yeah.
they not ready for it.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. And they show when they go again now, January 6th, what we just celebrated 100 years, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yep.
You can't control yourself. Why does a simple traffic stop end up in murder? Because you can't control your emotions, because you are entitled. When you say something and you will something, it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. When something that is truly normal
It's not supposed to be challenged.
is abnormal to you, then you've been operating in this space for,
You can. I got to send you the clip from and one of my favorite villains from Black Lightning is the guy named Tobias, right? He's the albino guy, intellectual. The brother said the white boy made a comment, and he said, "Do I look like such and such to you?" And he said, "You probably don't even know who that is." He said, "No." He said, that's the funny thing about white entitlement. He said, "You could be stupid and still require respect." He made that comment. He was like, you could still not know nothing,
right,
and still command a certain level of respect because of your birthright.
Yeah.
And not your position in society, but your color.
Yeah.
Automatically makes you command a certain level of respect.
Yeah.
So again,
I guess that's where I was getting my point I was trying to get to in terms of, like the word humble. It's like man, we are descendants of like outstanding people. I am not ashamed of my parents, my grandparents, and I don't want my kids to be ashamed of me. I want them to be proud to walk into the room knowing, the ancestors that came before them. I want them to be proud and to, to walk with all the confidence that the Creator has instilled in me to be able to, walk into places and be able to walk around and network with everybody in there, respect their humanity, and respectfully disagree with somebody and be like, well, you know what, we can agree to disagree, and then I can move on, or we can make some money together. I think that's the way of moving, our mode of operation that we got to get to.
What you just said then is about we decide what we're going to do. Hey, we're going to sit here and argue, or we're going to go ahead and move forward. And there are certain groups of folks, and I got opportunity. They always come to our door. And I was having this conversation earlier about a lot of times we get lost in the sauce. We think they're our friends, and you get to be socially accepted. No, they see a value in you.
Mm-hmm.
And they are that different group. They're not going to be yelling at you from across the street and throwing signs and waving flags. They're going to get closer to you. A lot of times, what we still forget in this society, that you can have the same social circle, you can have the same title, you can have the same salary, and still when it comes down to it, you will understand that the system is designed totally different. And you got to remember, when you get into these groups, and a lot of folks get lost in it, that you are still black. You're still black. And you got to be very, very cautious with that. And because, again, if you got a good service or a good product, they're going to be ready to work with you. But you got to be careful not to lose. A lot of folks have lost the rights to some stuff that they had because they believe too much in that's my friend. It's not like that. And next thing you know, you ain't got shit.
This business, we got to take that Shaq Diesel approach.
Hey, and again,
black men are told them, you need to humble yourself. You need to do this, and they tell us to do that, and then they teach the other folks to be sharks.
to be a pit bull. So when we are in business or networking or doing whatever the case may be, we got two different approaches.
Yeah.
You always gonna be the prey. You always gonna be the prey. Because again, like you say, when you have certain level of confidence in yourself or your ability, or whatever the case may be, you're quick to get a label of a negative label because a lot of times we care.
Yeah.
But see, when you don't care,
then
the shit don't matter. And then when you don't care, you're gonna stop hearing it.
You got to start operating with a certain level of fuck it. Yeah. Well, look, that's a sermon right there. We thank y'all for coming out. God bless y'all. The collection plate is going around. You can make a donation to Mississippi Move on our behalf. Yeah.
Listen. What you just said. Why we always talk to humble ourselves, and that's again coming from slavery, right? Yeah. You couldn't look a certain way. You know, you had to always make yourself be what's the term? Carry yourself less. Not to offend a group of folks that was actually inferior and very insecure. So if you've seen 12 Years a Slave, don't talk like that because he was using correct grammar.
Mm-hmm.
How is that relevant? We know folks that have been pulled over and folks look at your tag and say, I don't give a damn that you went to Tougaloo. But like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
But again, your insecurity makes you say certain things, and you are afraid for other folks around you to look like they're outdoing you. So you don't want to have the problem, not them, but you use reverse psychology to make it seem like they're the ones that have the problem. So black folks, especially, everything we get in, and if you don't believe this shit, you could just look at the Olympics. I don't care what kind of sport it is. If we learn the shit, 9 times out of 10, we never just be on the team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got countries from around the world, and you like, I ain't know they had black folks. They done found somebody black to represent them. You got predominantly white universities, and when you look at their basketball team and football team, you're like, yeah, they got a 10% black population. They all on the damn court.
Yep. All in the athletic department. They are.
So we know we got it. What did they say?
Trina said that just triggered me from when I was arrested because he saw that the Jackson Black Pages shirt and his whole demeanor changed. I remember that day. We were looking around for Trina.
We were looking for Trina ass everywhere. We're like, where in the hell did Trina go?
She went to pick up ice, right? I think that.
Yeah. And she was like, I got arrested. We're like, Trina, you didn't get arrested. Stop lying. But
they went to jail in Ridgeland, wasn't it?
Listen, white boy in Holmes County last year, one of the officials there was running to check on their daughter-in-law, and one of the young white troopers pulled her over, and how she said, yeah, and one of the young white troopers pulled her over, and she said, oh, you know, I'm such and such, I'm trying to get here during COVID. Daughter-in-law had gotten sick and trying to check on to see we need to call AMR. And that joker looked at her and said, you black folks in Holmes County think y'all can do anything y'all want to. In 2021. And I'm telling you, with no shame, you just said the shit like it was the right shit to say.
Yeah.
Because there's no fear of accountability.
No, dog. No.
And again, like I told you earlier, how the dynamics of power have just changed. While we playing games, worry about the wrong shit, you're going to do just like they said about the Kenyans. They're going to say, the great white man came. They had a great feast. They bowed their head to pray. They woke up. They had a Bible in their hand and all the land was gone.
Yep.
So while we out here having our best life and enjoying ourselves, turn around, you're going to be like, wait a minute.
No, sir.
Who is that? Wait a minute.
Where they come from?
What? Who run that? And you ain't going to be able to run shit no more. And you're not going to be in charge. And this is the real shit that we deal with right now. So we got it. Everything that we can put our hands on, everybody number we can pick up and call, we need to be having this conversation with us because the new Freedom Summer is something
address the issues. We're addressing reading because they build prison based on third grade test scores. And we know that reading is very, very fundamental because reading allows you to be able to educate yourself and teach yourself.
Yep.
Right. So instead of trying to make you read certain novels and certain books, certain bullshit they created, hey, if you want to read something that's created, read about this black superhero. Read that.
Yeah.
All right. You know, we talking about fundamental things about organizing and teaching your history and showing that some things that was in our past are still relevant to this day. We're having therapeutic Thursdays. We're doing boxing on Wednesdays, addressing self-defense, self-confidence, and self-discipline. Because a lot of times folks play on your emotions. They want you to act a fool. They want you to say something. And you got to have the discipline enough to sit there and look at them and don't say nothing. And that's going to make them more upset than anything you could say by sitting up there and just looking at them and letting them know whatever little trick they're trying to pull is not working.
Yeah, it ain't working.
And a lot of times we fall for the banana in the tailpipe. We fall for that old shit in the classroom when somebody said in the back of the classroom, holla out yuck mouth. And then somebody turn around, who are you talking about? I'm talking about your ass because you're the one turning around and responding. If it's not your name, don't answer to.
You went old school right there.
And you know how it was. Somebody holla out yuck mouth, and then you turn around and got mad. And you trying to justify why you were they were talking about me. They didn't call no names.
Ain't nobody said nothing about you.
That's us. We always respond to some shit ain't nobody called us about.
When it's already working on voter suppression. Oh yeah, they been. I mean, the thing about it is we get distracted. We take our eye off the ball.
I never forget when they're talking about when 45 Spoken came to Mississippi. I think for the opening of the museums, and folks were asking them, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Shit, I'm gonna do the same thing I was planning on doing before they said he was coming." I said, "What we supposed to do? We supposed to stop everything because he's coming?" No, you stick to the plan. You always stick to the plan. You don't do that. You know, and you got to have that plan. We came up with plans years ago. If a fight break out somewhere, don't look for me. Meet me at the truck.
Right.
Your goal, I don't give a damn what's happening. Your goal is to get to the truck or whatever we were riding in. 9 to my 10 was a truck or SUV. You get there, we regroup, and then we figure out who's missing.
Yep.
But stick to the plan.
Still works.
So voter suppression, that's why we're doing voter registration block parties. That's why we're going to be doing back to school giveaways, participating in many things to get folks registered to vote. I got to write this pilot plan up that we're going to try to get the JPS, and we're going to try to get as many people registered to vote, but also be educated on why they should actively vote, and definitely vote where you live.
Yeah.
That's very, very, very important. Know who the election commissioners are. Know where the polling precinct is. Get that information early in advance. Make a plan. If you need to do absentee, whatever you need to do, go ahead and take this shit seriously. I want folks next year to plan to take off to help with the election the same way they plan to take off to go to a game.
Yep. You gonna take off to go to Memphis? You need to be off on election day.
So go do something. If you ain't doing a whole less,
that's the marketing material right there.
So let me tell you this shit right here. They complain about some of the folks they have working as poll workers. They either said they are older, they move this way, they too slow, they not knowledgeable. But guess what?
They there.
They there. And you not. So everybody that's that type 110 words a minute and all that shit that you can do, take off and volunteer.
Hey, don't do us because we type faster than you, man.
Hey, it is what it is. I'm just saying. Shit, if you type slow like me, that means you stand your ass outside and hold a sign. But there's something for you to do. Shit.
This our Mac type.
See again, that's that yuck mouth. I ain't say nothing about your ass, Chuck. And there you go. That's that yuck mouth. See what I tell you about us?
Hey,
even the best of us.
All I was trying to do is just bring some humor to the situation because we are actually coming up on the 55-minute mark, and usually we try to get out of here around that time because I know you got on the roll, but
we actually are doing better. We're getting out of here about 10, at least 10. And the thing about it, this shit is serious, and I always tell everybody, for most Black people, you need to have a Hulk syndrome. And the question is, the Hulk said, "What's his secret?" He said, I don't get angry. I stay angry.
There you go.
At the current situation we see that's going on in our society, where this was happening to us, are we doing it to ourselves, or other folks are doing it to us? It's a situation and something that you should stay upset about.
Yeah.
And you should be trying to think of ways, if you can just do it within your circle, within your household, with your children, with your family, what are you going to do to help prevent it from happening? Because here's the two things that you always got to stick out in your mind. You either part of the problem or part of the solution.
There it is.
There is no middle.
Yeah.
If you can't say
there's
no
no
neutral. No. If you say I'm not a part of the problem, okay, what are you doing to be part of the solution?
Yeah. There it
That's
is.
it.
There it is.
Brother Hollis got a song for that. I got to get the CD to you, Chuck. And they said, "Which side are you on, boy?"
No, I know that song.
If he said, "Which side are you on?" So folks got to choose some sides. You can't say I'm just gonna be right here. No.
Somebody got to bake the biscuits. So if you baking the biscuits and folk out there doing their thing, you playing a part in the role.
You have got to do something.
Everybody got to play a part.
So, hey man, everybody check us out. We're going to be keep going with Freedom Summer. We're going to post the whole video from Brother Hollis, and we got a lot of good things coming up. We're going to keep moving forward. We got to keep moving Mississippi forward. My freedom, my vote. We're keeping this going. We just need more folks to get involved, more volunteers. If you want us to come to your area, you've got a group of folks you want us to work with. We're not running from folks. Just let us know where they are and what we can do and connect us with them. They free. They can come by and get meals. We can feed people. So it's not like we're going to run out. If you tell me in advance you bring in 20 people, I'll make sure we got enough meals to feed you and your people.
We got
so just, and we can't listen. We at 911 Palmyra Street. I don't know how many people know about Jackson, but you can't say we're not located where the people are.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to use different terms of what you consider to be the hood or whatever the case may be, I'm just telling you right now, this is not a gated community where we are, right? So yeah, it's real shit, and you need to be there. And we are where the people feel more comfortable in coming. That's where we are. And because that's where a lot of us come from, and some of us still are. So we want you to come on out, support, send people, bring folks, tell people about it. Therapeutic Thursdays. We talked about surviving crisis. Now we're going to talk about living with trauma. That's going to be the topic for this Thursday, living with trauma. And that's a whole show by itself when we start talking about living with trauma.
Well, look, man, I'm gonna get one thing up on the screen before we get out of here. I am trying to load it.
Appreciate it, Trina putting it out there. Tell them folks to come on out here.
Yeah, man. 911 Palmyra Street, Jackson, Mississippi. The UIG Business Complex, Sankofa Kitchen is located there, and Mississippi Move and a number of other organizations have emergency preparedness supplies there in storage. So we trying to, if we stay ready, we ain't got to get ready, man. So that's all that we're about. We're trying to put something. This whole show is about putting something on your mind before you go to bed, something that you can think about and put some action steps into play before the next time that we get here. And look, let's see if I can bring this up. I've got a guest already lined up for next week, Mac.
All right.
Yeah, typically, we be trying to scramble or like who we gonna bring on? Who we gonna bring on? And the brother that I have spoken with, and I think you will definitely like this particular product that he's going to be bringing and sharing with us. It's a water, right? Mm-hmm. So what type of water you like, Matt?
I like alkaline water. If y'all doing that, I would rather do some spring water.
Okay, so alkaline water, spring water, right? So look here, check this out, man. We have Eric Brundage, native of the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and he has his own ionized alkaline bottled water. It's called Aspira Pura. So he's going to be with us next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, July 20th, 9 p.m. Nightcap Knowledge, live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And you can see Mr. Mac and me up there at the top of that. Look at us right there. Look at that, looking just like ourselves.
Well, you're looking just like you looking.
Looking just like you looking, man. So
Hey,
Y'all
I already want to buy some water. Look, I ain't got to taste it. Is we just want to go ahead and what we need to do to get some cases. We need some cases of that water up here.
look, and I'm trying to get them on deck for the Black Business Expo.
Yeah.
And of course, we have to give a shout out to the Mississippi Black Pages. The Mississippi Black Pages Black Business Expo, the People's Marketplace, will be August the 21st in Jackson, Mississippi, 12 to 5 p.m. That's the MississippiBlackPages.com. If you want to reserve your space or update your listing, you can go ahead and head over to MSBlackPages.com. That's Saturday, August 21st, 2021, 12 to 5 p.m. at the Jackson Convention Complex. And we got the business workshops, we got the food court, we got the family fun zone, and the coordinated committee for the Mississippi Black Pages is hard at work. So shout out to Sabir, Trina, Brad, Fumi, and Artrice. Well, Mac, I think that's all we got there, brother.
That's all we got, brother.
We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week to Nightcap Knowledge, another episode. We'll be putting something on your mind before you go to bed. Solution-oriented talk at nighttime. Your number one night show, like Mr. Maine used to say, right?
Right.
Shout out to Mr. One of our earliest guests. Y'all make sure y'all fool with us next week, 9 p.m. Nightcap Knowledge. Mr. Mac, DJ George, Chuck. We out. Peace. Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Man. He got engaged. He asked his girlfriend to marry him in Disney World, Orlando, Florida. So shout out to Mr. Maine. Congratulations to the couple, and I'm pretty sure that Mr. won't have to worry about finding a DJ because all of them. So shout out to Mr. Maine and Miss D. She's got ties to Tougaloo, Jackson State, man. We love folks. We love seeing love. So congratulations to Mr. Maine. Y'all tell him that we shouted him out on Nightcap Knowledge. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.